school next week. We'll get some kids back up here. I didn't have anybody there finishing workouts today, so let them finish those. We got some meetings going on. So I didn't have anybody today. I apologize for that, but we'll make sure the rest of the time that we have somebody up here to talk to you, and you can ask some questions, that kind of thing. So as far as our last couple games go, I've done some decent things. Played Shattern up at the Civic Center, which was a great event. Did a good job of getting everything prepared for that. And our guys came out and played extremely well. You know, we guarded the heck out of the basketball, and it's a very athletic team, and did a lot of good things. But the best part was the ball in the hole for a game. You know, so when the ball's going to the basket, you get some opportunities to do some things that you like to do more on the defensive side. You know, sometimes it's hard to play defense when you come down and you don't score for 8 minutes in a row, or you go and go on a pretty good drought, and it affects you on the defensive side too. And I think we got through that. Sure, we ended up winning by 20, you know, which doesn't happen very often in the game of basketball, number one, but especially against a team that's very athletic like them, can put the ball on the ground and do some things that way. But a lot of that had to do with just us, that we've really struggled lately when we lost those guys on just the scoring side. And going into the year, that was the first thing I said in one of our events that we had is, hey, we finally got a team this year that we're not going to worry about scoring, you know, and that's all we're worried about right now. So be careful what you say, and be careful what you wish for and what you think's going in. But you know, we've had some done some good things. The next night, turned around and played a team that just gave us kind of some fits this year, I guess, with Regis. They play zone. They'll sit back. They'll do some things that make you turn it over. And they're a team that can definitely score. So I struggled with them, and they didn't get the win there that we thought we could. After coming off of that win against Shattern State, we thought we'd play a little bit better. We thought we would, you know, hit some shots because we shot the ball better, and thought we'd get some things going a little bit, especially with them sitting in the zone. And then we just didn't, and didn't find a way to win that game. And we did. We were kind of missing some of those guys on the scoring side. As far as this past weekend goes, we went down and played a very good Pueblo team that plays very, very well at home, especially, and just got off to an absolutely awful start. You know, our starters didn't score the first 4 minutes that they're in there. Start putting in our subs right away, you know, a couple minutes in, and try to get some scoring guys in there. Next thing you know, I guess, you know, sub in 5 guys, and then they finally get 2 points, and it's 21-2. You know, that's not a very good way to start the game against a very good team on their home court. You just can't do that and find a way to get back. That being said, next thing you know, they score 21 points in about 4 or 5 minutes, it felt like, and they don't score basically the next 6-7 minutes. So we did a good job of buckling down, finding a way to get some stops. The problem was we got to 11 finally, so it's 21-11. Jay Sean goes in, misses a layup, which, you know, he had some great games for us the last couple games. Point blank layup, just misses. Go down to the other end, they take a quick shot, we have to rebound, and just didn't secure it. They tip it, go flying out of bounds, tip it to a guy, and he gets an and-one. Next thing you know, he gets a 3-point play. So we go from literally having the worst start we could ever do or have to having an opportunity to basically get to 6 points and be right back in the game and have some opportunities to, you know, you don't win games in the first half, but you can definitely lose games in the first half. And that was just that 2 plays after being just absolutely awful. Those 2 plays, I think, basically kind of cost us the game, so to speak, as far as being in it. That if Jay just could have finished the layup, which all, you know, and that happens in the game of basketball, and just running down a rebound. You know, just little things like that you know, definitely could have made a difference in that game. That being said, you know, they started hitting some shots in the second half. They're only 6 for 20. They took 23s in the first half, only make 6 of them, and you know, if we could have just scored, we would have been just fine. Then they come out and hit some shots in the second half, and it's over. And the next night, we get off to a great start against Western State. Did a lot of good things. Jay Sean actually, you know, we scored. Brian hit some shots. Did some good things against their zone that we knew they were going to run, and Marco had a great play. All these things are going great. We're up 14. The worst part of it, I had to call a couple timeouts just so I could make sure that Jay Sean stayed on the floor, because, you know, you're playing at elevation, you're playing the second night, all those kind of things. And I basically couldn't take the kid out because he was the one not scoring, and, you know, kind of those, what do you do as a coach? and needed to get him some breaks. And sure enough, he came back and bit us the second half because he started cramping up and he only played about 5 minutes the second half from a guy that scored 22 points in the first half. And that would obviously hurt us. And then we had another kid go down, Joe Newkirk, I think, probably tore an ACL. Did some things in that second half as well, too. So next thing you know, they scored 50 points in the second half, which they did the night before against Black Hills. Same exact scenario. They're a team that can definitely score. They scored 55 points in the second half against Black Hills after Black Hills had a 14, 15-point lead. Bottom line is Black Hills kept scoring, and we just didn't do that. So we went on another drought where we were stuck at 51 points forever, and anyway, ended up coming away with a loss against a team that honestly we need to beat when we're on the road. Find a way to split, those kind of things. And but they got a couple guys back. Of course, it's the third time this year that a guy doesn't play against Black Hills and then comes out and plays against us and gets 15 to 20 points. So just the way our luck is going, I think, right now. But they had a kid that got back in the lineup after being hurt, and he knocks down some big threes against us, takes us off the bounce, and just a very good player to be in the lineup. So that definitely didn't help either. But once again, it came back to us. We scored, we knocked down shots, and we would have been just fine. Going into next week, this week now, I guess, with this weekend, we got two very good teams coming to our place with UCCS. They shoot a lot of threes, which we've seen a lot this year. So we got to make sure we're contesting the threes, getting out on those guys. But they can also put the ball on the ground, So it's a very good team. They've been up by 30 and 35 points on the top teams in our conference 3 times this year. Just because they come out and they shoot the ball so well to start the game, that if they do that, then they'll allow you to come back in because they keep shooting and keep shooting and keep shooting as well. So we got to make sure that we stay in it. It's going to be a game of runs. But bottom line is, can we score with them? And that's going to be something that we got to find. It can't be just one guy. We got to step it up. Whether it's Brian or Philip Shanelak, I met with him today. He's just got to play better. He's a senior right now and shoot the ball. He's shooting under 20%, and I know he's frustrated and that kind of thing. But he's going to come around. We still have half the season left. In our conference, and guys like Philip Shanelak, Justin Shook, Eric Seabury, our seniors we're going to lean on coming in here now and hopefully having a good weekend. So, any major questions? That's kind of the rundown of this weekend. We do have a good Denver Metro out of Denver that's won the national championship a couple of years ago. They got a couple guys actually back from that national championship team that I don't know how they got eligible, but they're eligible and they're playing. The NCAA allowed them to play 5-6 years later because of the rules that we have, and they're very good players now in the lineup. And once they get some things figured out on the offensive side as well, they're going to be definitely a team like they have in the past. So, any questions for me today? Yep. Yeah, great question. The injury front. Connor still hasn't practiced. Jamal still hasn't practiced. I don't expect Jamal back for probably a couple more weeks. Connor, I'd like to think that he can even be back this weekend, but probably playing just a couple minutes, and then hopefully being pretty close to full strength by next week. Now, that's just me being the optimist, I guess, that Coach Larson has taught me to be on these trips. But no, I'm excited with this progress. Like I said, our trainers have done a great job with them and getting them back. Especially with Connor, a lot of his is just rehab stuff where a guy basically breaks his foot. There's only so much you can do other than ride a bike and things like Jamal is. So I think we've done a good job of strengthening his knee, and hopefully the lateral movement side part of it will come along. Like I said, if he does play this weekend, it'll be very, very limited time, but hopefully we'll have him back when we go on the road next weekend. Yep.
Joe wants a year?
Joe does not know if he's got. Yes, he's got between you and me and whoever's watching this, but yeah, it was too swollen yesterday when he met with the doctor. He's going to do his MRI maybe later this week, but when I saw it happen, it wasn't good. So the bad thing is if he has to have surgery and it's late in the season right now, and if it ends up taking the 9 months. even pushing a year, it's affecting us next year, and that's kind of what I was losing sleep over, I guess, as much as anything. You know, we've gone through so much this year, it's next year's stuff that now I got to start thinking about it, not having a post guy that we were expecting to have and that kind of stuff. So it's going to affect us not just tomorrow, not just a week from now, possibly a year from now as well. So hopefully he gets good news. If not, you know, we got to make sure we have another plan for him. So feel bad for the kids, that's for dang sure. Anything else? Yep.
Can you explain the basketball postseason format and where we're at on it right now?
Yes, the basketball postseason format, real quick. In the RMAC, there's 16 teams. There's basically two sides, two divisions that we've talked a little bit about and that kind of thing. Bottom line is they only take the top 8 teams to go. So they might take 6 from one division and only 2 from the other. So it doesn't mean if you finish in the top half or the top 4 on your side that you're going to make the playoffs. Obviously, that's what we play for. That's the things that we talk about is where we're sitting on our side of it. But it just doesn't matter as far as you know, where you're sitting necessarily. That being said, if you finish in the top couple, even 3 with ours, it's so crazy as far as where we're at. You know, we're basically 2 games back now for where we need to be in the playoff hunt. But there's nobody running away with it. And I think it's the same thing even in Ryan's side of it, is you've got a couple teams with Mines and Pueblo maybe and Black Hills. In the men's side, you know, you got Fort Lewis that only has a couple losses. After that, you got 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. So, you know, if we can, not that I want to use this, but if we can get some of these guys back, and we've done an okay job of making sure that we at least won a couple games. You know, I think of the Tony Romos of the world, and you know, thinking Dallas Cowboys, which I don't like as much as my Vikings, but win a couple games with him out, and they would have been just fine. You know, so we've done that. We've won a couple games. We would have liked to win one more, but if we can find a way to you know, get those guys back, hopefully we can make that run. The last 4 or 5 games kind of thing. And the only way we're able to do that is not just because of us, it's because of everybody else is so even this year that there's nobody, you know, way on top or way below. So we have an opportunity. We're not sitting where we want to sit right now, but you know, if we win a couple this weekend, we'll definitely get back in the hunt today. Anything else? All right, we'll see you all this weekend. We're back at home.
Thanks, Coach. Indoor track season's underway. We haven't heard from Coach Jerry Schaefer for a while. Welcome up, Coach Schaefer.
I don't know if I should hold my team notes here or what. Old guys sometimes have to have notes to keep track of what was going on. So, but bear with me. We did compete at Black Hill State this last Friday, and it was a pretty good contest. We were coming in off a short week. The kids came back on Monday. They had a meet already on Friday. So we were working on whatever they got done over Christmas break for about 4 weeks. And some of them got some things done, and some of the others were struggling a little bit. But overall, I thought we competed very, very well. We had 23 personal best performances, and some of those kids were multiple personal bests. We have a multi-event freshman, Brad Ware, who improved on 4 of his events in the multis. So he did a really nice job. Probably our top performances, Mackenzie Nordine was second in the 60 meters and set a personal best. She also was 4th in the pole vault and ran on our 2nd place women's 4x14. Carrie Radke ran the 3K for us and won the race. Ran a very, very good race and set a personal best. Josh Thomas won the long jump and was 2nd in the 60-meter dash. Did not set any personal best, but competed very, very well. Kevin Thompson won the 60-meter dash. He and Josh were 1st and 2nd there battling the finals. And then probably the other top performance that really stood out was our freshman thrower, Jack Batho, also a football player. Jack threw a shot over 49 feet and not only a personal best collegiately, but it was also put him 7th, I think, on our all-time top 10 list for school Lions. We're looking for good things from him in the future as well. So overall, with those 23 best times, we had 6 kids that got onto our all-time top 10 Lions list in their events. And I was counting up this week in the RMAC performance list right now, we have 14 kids that are in the top 10 in their events. So we're pretty pleased with where we're sitting this early in the season after 3 weeks of competition. Any questions? Yes, go ahead.
Have you ever had a start like that?
We have, but it's been so long it's hard to remember.
Who's all up there?
Yeah, the competitors this week were Black Hill State hosted. Gillette College and Rocky Mountain College were over with some of their. Chadron State only had their throwers at the meet this last weekend, and Dickinson State came down. So it was a smaller meet, but it's a really, really good competition. We're going to see probably those same teams this weekend, and then we'll add Montana State Billings, and all of Chadron's teams should be there this weekend. So that'll be a really good test for our sprinters and some of our field events people. Any questions? Actually, we're fairly healthy. A couple of illnesses we're looking at this week, but overall, we came out of the weekend with no major injuries or anything. So just little tweaky stuff, strains here and there. So we're in pretty good shape. Okay, go back to Nate.
Thanks, Coach. I'll tell you what, we haven't heard from Brian Larson for a couple of weeks. You know, he was on the road and things like this. Then all of a sudden, he beats the #1 team in the conference. He goes 2-0 on the road, and he's here. Welcome up, Brian Larson.
My timing on coming to luncheon lately is really good. We did have that recruiting trip scheduled. I promised you that. Coming after a weekend of 0-2 on the road, that was scheduled for sure. I didn't know we had luncheon that week, so that is my fault. But Devin Ashley did a tremendous job filling in. According to Coach Henry, she was much better than I was, so good job, Devin. Speaking of that, as we were driving, Coach Paula pulled up the luncheon on her phone, and we were watching it. It was the replay, and we listened to Coach Henry make some snide remarks about me taking too long talking, and then I just told Kay to fast forward it. She fast forwarded, kept going, kept going, kept going. 20 minutes later, on her phone, finally Devin gets up there, so good job filling in for me, Jason. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. But, yeah, missed the 0-2 weekend luncheon. Apologize about that. Last week we did have luncheon. Obviously, the Chadron game at the Civic Center. I do want to thank our administration, Joel, Tippy, and everybody else. Our whole athletic department helped out with that. That was a tremendous effort. Our kids really got a kick out of playing down there. I hope our fans enjoyed it too. But that was a good environment for us. And they played a good game. We really rebounded well that game after a pretty suspect weekend the weekend before on the road. It was great because after that weekend of Mesa, which we played really well, came up a little short and then didn't play very well at Westminster. I could really tell that our confidence was shaken a little bit. It was good to see us rebound and play well against the Chadron team. Were we perfect? We were far from perfect, but we executed a defensive game plan very well. Held their best player in check, I felt, and made some plays down the stretch to win that game. So that was a good win for us. And then the following night against Regis, I tell you what. We had a lot of opportunities to win that son of a gun. We really did. Even in the last 2 minutes, 5 opportunities where I could just pull off the top of my head that we could have pretty easily walked walked away with a win there. You know, lost opportunity there, but we just as a good team, we're not hanging our heads by that by any means. I give the kids a ton of credit. You know, that's a tough loss for us. We came back and had a fantastic week of practice. They regrouped. They had a great energy about them, a great focus, and you know, the result was the win at Pueblo. We played really, really well against an outstanding team, and you know, I can go on and on and on down the list. You know, the kids that played fantastic, and really what it was every single one of them. You know, I had a quote in the paper today. Megan Rohr, she played the 2 best basketball games last weekend that I've seen her play. You know, a lot of times you're used to Megan seeing her score 20-some points. And, you know, getting her points, but she was fantastic. You know, she had, I think, 15 or 16 points, something like that. But she rebounded extremely well, which is something that we've really challenged Megan to do better at. She was a very good defensive player. We didn't match her up with her sister. Not specifically because we didn't want those two going head-to-head, but it fit us better game plan-wise. She was the double kid that game, just to go double her little sister and cause her to turn it over. And Big Sister won that matchup, not only in the final score, but head-to-head. You know, Big Sister had a better game, and she turned over her little sister 6 times. So Megan did a fantastic job there. What I'm so impressed about Megan is she played offensively this weekend. We were able to play through her. We were able to get her a post touch. She would kick it back out. She would find an open shooter. She'd find Devin, you know, on a nice high-low pass. Because the defense is paying so much attention to Devin and Megan right now that we were able to play through her, and it opened up a lot of scoring opportunities for other kids. So that was really great to see, and that was the best 2 games that I've seen Megan play. You know, then also at Pueblo, you know, obviously with Callie being out, we had to shuffle our lineup a little bit. We started both Krista and Alexis together. That worked out really well for us. It was great having 2 ball handlers on the court. And another kid I really want to point out, Alexis Long guarded 2 really good players this weekend. That second night, Saturday night against Western State, you know, it was sometime in the 4th quarter where she was completely on empty, and she stayed in there until she got her 5th ball on a really suspect call. But it was probably time for her to come out anyway. She really did a fantastic job of guarding, in my mind, 2 kids that will be first-team all-conference players. So she was just a tremendous defensive weapon for us. Going back to that Pueblo game, you know, it's just great to get a victory like that, because again, I go back to a couple of our losses where I felt that our team's confidence was shaking a little bit. And now that proves, hey, we can compete with these teams. There's no doubt about it. We're as good as them is if we continue to do the things that we're doing well now. You know, when we weren't putting up great offensive numbers and not playing great basketball, we were missing all kinds of open shooters. We weren't a good passing team there. And against Pueblo, man, we found so many great looks within our offense. We didn't make a bunch of them. If we did, we kind of run away with that game. But it's just nice to see that we found those open shots. We were a really good passing team that game, and it carried over Saturday night as well. And Saturday night, I tell you what, after just a tremendous hard-fought victory against Pueblo, you know, you go over Monarch Pass, the snow starts snowing. Our bus driver pulls off to the side of the road and put her chains on the bus. The basketball gods were good to us again. As soon as she pulled over, the snowplow comes past us, and Coach Henry and Coach Glenn and I said, just follow that plow. Follow that plow. And so we followed that plow for about 25 miles. And, I mean, we practically got there a half hour later. We had to put those chains on. But we roll into Gunnison at 1:30 a.m. The kids go to bed right away. Film at 9 a.m. Another guy I got to give a ton of credit to is Coach Miguez. He was huge for us last weekend, stretching our kids out, making sure that they just pounded water, and we were tired and playing at 7,700 feet is not easy at all, but another kind of demon that we exercised against Western State is we came out to a very fast start. We had them down 11-0, and I think it might have been 15-2 at one point. We had a fantastic start to that game, and normally we don't do that. We kind of think around a little bit, keep it close, keep it close. We had a really nice start to that game, and that was the key to that victory. Because once they started going, we kept scoring. We'd stretch a little bit, they'd kind of make a run. And quite honestly, I talked to a number of people after the game, my dad being included, Peyton's mom, they were nervous as all heck, but I felt really good that second half because we were just making enough plays, right? I never felt that we were ever threatened. And the kids were comfortable, they were calm, and they just did a fantastic job of maintaining that lead and making big plays down the stretch. Alexis Long hit a big shot to get in the second half. Alexis hit big shots the first night against Pueblo, big shots the second night. Heather Rogers is a kid I got to point out again. She had a huge three against Pueblo. That put us ahead by one. And then she had a huge three against Western State that was kind of the dagger for us. And those two kids were just fantastic, as everybody was this weekend. And that's our team. We got a lot of balance offensively. When we're making the right pass and finding open shots, we're pretty tough to guard. And the other thing is we just executed 2 defensive game plans both nights that worked out extremely well. Again, I got to give Coach Paula a lot of credit. She had a tremendous game plan against Pueblo State. We executed it, we shut down their 2 best players, but all credit goes to the kids. And then again, Coach Wisner had a very good game plan against Western State, and we executed again, and we held them in check pretty well defensively. So it was a great weekend. We are very excited yet, but players, myself, coaching staff, it's all behind us now. The nice thing is we put ourselves in a really good position where we took a couple on the road, where we gotta protect the home court now. If we don't, we kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball again. But if we protect the home court this weekend, I like where we're at. We're going to be in a really good position. Colorado Springs and Metro, they're both ahead of us in the standings by a game or 2. So if we can take them this weekend, we put ourselves in a great position. We're kind of in the driver's seat from here on out. Yeah, great weekend. It's behind us. We got to focus in on what's ahead of us right now and have a great week of practice. We got a really good guest for us here today, Peyton Humpel. I tell you what, she had her struggles a couple weeks ago, like all of us, but no one cares more than this kid. And she had 2 big threes, had a really good game defensively for us against Pueblo. Same thing Saturday night against Western. It's great to have her back, shooting the ball with confidence, and just being that great weapon for us. The one thing that I do want to say about Peyton, Coach Paul and I talk about this all the time, is specifically about her. Even when her game isn't going, she is the best teammate that we have. Our kids they're all great friends and great teammates, but Peyton isn't concerned about what she's not doing well. She just wants us to win and wants her teammates to play well. And I tell you what, that's a special kid to coach when she just wants what's the very best for every single one of her teammates and the team included. So Hump, come on up here, say a few words, see what you got to say.
I'm Peyton. I'm a sophomore industrial engineering student. I'm from Fort Collins, Colorado, born and raised. Kind of to touch back on the games. Going into last weekend, I think the biggest thing for us is that we knew it was a big turning point of the season. As a team, we had come off, we lost short to Regis, we played well, and we knew that we were just almost there to getting everything to click and to pay off. And so going to Poco, we knew they were second in the RMAC. Megan was playing her system. There was a lot of energy, and I think we kind of fed off of each other and used that energy to our benefit to get the win. It was a huge win. And Coach had talked about all week, this team is very beatable. We're looking for a win. This team is beatable. We can do it. So at that point, I think it was just, that we had to believe in ourselves more than anything. So we got the win Friday night. Like Coach said, kind of a long trip over to Western. Everybody was tired. Everybody was feeling it. Road trips are hard the second night because you get up at 9 a.m. to watch film. You don't know if you can do shoot around and do lunch. the coach just kind of talked about how for the Buffalo game, he kind of gave us a theme that we had played with no fear, and I think that's kind of an overall theme for our team this year is no fear, and especially with where we're at this season, we really can't have any fear at all. We're playing some big teams, and to go in there scared is not good for us. So, we just knew we were going to go out there, we're going to give it our all, play tired or not, we're going to give it, everything we have. So, we kind of pulled together, and we kind of got cut closer at the end at Western, and I think a lot of people were getting nervous, like you said, my mom was freaking out the stands. But we really just came together as a team. We had a lot of shots, and we definitely pulled out the win. So, any questions from you guys?
Is there any questions for me? Hitting that one off pretty quick. Any questions for me about this weekend, last weekend? Alright, it's good being going last. No one cares about questions after that. Thanks everybody coming out. It's a good showing. Appreciate it.
Good weekend, Coach. Good weekend, Kate. It's a good weekend for the Hard Rock women. A few things to let you know before you run today when we wind down. If you haven't paid your $5 yet, we get a great deal here, but it's not free. So if you can pay your $5 to Sandy back there in the corner, that'd be great. And leave some tip money for Candace, our great server. She does a nice job. Leave some generous tips at your table as well. Thursday, new event called Meet the Hard Rockers at Surbeck Center and Einstein Bagels. Coaches will be there. Student Scholar athletes will be there. We encourage you to come out 11:30 to 1. So if you don't have any lunch plans, you can drop by. That'd be great. All the coaches are going to be there interacting. It's Meet the Hard Rockers Thursday, 11:30 to 1 at Surbeck and Einstein Bagels. And finally, Friday night, University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, 5:30 and 7:30. Saturday afternoon, Metro State, 3:30 and 5:30 this weekend. Thanks everybody for coming out. Have a great week.